Okay, we are back. It is another week of Chiropractic is Sexy, and I am Dr. Paula Ruffin.
And I am Dr. Erica Peabody. Happy to be here.
Yeah, and
In
we're
the heat of
just
summer.
how is summer going so far for everybody? I'm
It's
loving
fast. It's
it.
super fast. So I always take the week of the 4th of July off, so we won't be here next week, but it's June 26th. Like,
It's
what?
crazy town.
Wow.
I know.
How's
How did that
that?
happen?
How's
I
that?
was booking an appointment for a patient for next week, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm on the wrong week. That's
Yeah.
July. And then I went, oh, wait a minute. No.
No, you're on the right week. I know.
I was
It
on the
feels
right week. It
it
is
feels
July. Holy moly. So we wanted to come to you and as a halfway mark check-in. And where are you in your health goals and how are you doing and how are you feeling? And I feel like summer comes so fast and furious, especially here in the US and in the Midwest. And we love our summers. And it's easy to either hey, I'm going to get outside, I'm going to do more activity. And so you really start to tap into your health goals. Or it's easy to neglect them and say, I'm going to go to summer parties and I'm going to hang out at the beach and the pool and cocktails and backyard barbecues that are filled with all kinds of stuff that's not really great for you. So, where are you landing at this moment in time? And we are here to have that conversation to talk about all the different ways that you need to be resetting and then, of course, coming into July 4th, which is a US holiday here. I know many of you come from around the globe. So we are celebrating our Independence Day. And there's Baptiste coming in from Africa. So we have an international channel, which I just love.
I love that too. I was just thinking about, because I think back at the end, I want to say at the end of May, as school was closing to an end, we had talked about how summer can get away from us with our diet, with our health goals and all of that, and how to celebrate the end of the school year is one thing. To keep that going for all summer is like 1/4 of the year, like 90 days. Let's just say summer's 90 days. And that can get you so far off track with definitely diet, with your water intake, with alcohol intake, with inflammatory processes, and also with your chiropractic care. People say, it's summertime and I'm like, absolutely, it's summertime. This is the time to buckle down. And I was just having this conversation with a mom of 2 college kids who are home right now. And it's like, this is the time, because when they're away at college, it's just not happening. Like, to even find a chiropractor on a college campus is few and far between. To find somebody who's close enough, if you're a student without a car, it's just not convenient once you're at school. So this is actually the time to double down. This is the time when they're not eating in cafeterias. This is the time when they are not sitting long hours and studying with their heads down and poor posture and all of that. So I just love that. I mean, my week off is always in conjunction with the half year point exactly, because the 4th falls there. But it also gives us it gives me a breather and my team a breather to step out and then step back for a really powerful second half of the year. And I can already see the schedule and what it looks like that week coming back. So I'm excited for that. And I'm excited now because I was telling I think I was telling my other friend over video this morning that our HRV score on our Oura Ring, which we bring up quite often. One time on vacation, I was able to get my HRV up over 100 and it was pushing 140,
Oh my
which
gosh.
is like, you are so calm and adaptable. And you've done all the right things for a number of days in a row. So that's my goal, is to get my HRV score up as high as possible, and readiness score that we talked about last week too.
Don't you love that you're going on vacation and your goal is to get your HRV score up?
Yeah, optimize my health, because I'm optimal
Yeah.
now as compared to, let's just say, the standard American, right? Where Dr. Paul and I work really hard to optimize. All of us chiropractors kind of do that to walk our talk. But when I can step away and I'm not going to heavily cocktail. I'm not going to eat out. I have an Airbnb, which I love. I bring my dogs with me and get to cook, spend time prepping and making sure that my health is optimized for the second half of the year.
Well, and I love that you do that at the end of the second half of the year. You go to Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when Dr. Erica goes to Florida, she walks, but I don't think she does anything else but walking, because she leaves me Marco Polo video messages and she's only ever walking. Like, she's never just sitting, having a meal or anything. No. I'm like, you are like Forrest Gump. You're walking for like 7 days straight. So.
Well, it's one thing. So as we get up in the mornings, as we're headed into the practice, right? For each of our practice, like we have our morning thing that we do. We get up, we chug our water. I get out with my dogs immediately. I know I've talked about that a lot. We're eating well to fuel ourselves for all of this. Now, in the time when I'm off, I get to eat well, move well, think well, get my rest, get my water, and oftentimes still get adjusted. But I get to do those 5 things at max potential because I don't have a time limit of I got to get to the practice. My parking lot's full of patients. And so I love that. And yeah, in Florida, I used to travel with my chiropractor friends. Now all of them have small kids. So we used to go exotic places for the holidays. But now I just go to Florida because you can guarantee the warm weather, get by the ocean. I always have to go to the ocean. So yeah. And this usually this time I'm going to the big water. So I like to go to one of the Great Lakes so that I can get by the big water where I can walk beaches again. So yeah.
It's great. And I'm, just as far as asking everyone else, like, what have you done? Have you used summertime as this opportunity to reset? And of course, when Dr. Erica talks about getting your kids under chiropractic care, they're coming home from colleges and or even they're out of high school and they've had this super busy schedule with sports. And now is the time to get them under care because it's a lot of stress on them. And I know, a lot of parents are like, oh, they're kids. What the heck kind of stress could they have? But it's a lot of stress. Like you said, Dr. Erica, how they're sitting like this all day long. They're studying, they're running from one place to the next. They've got practice and they have games, and then they have to be up late because they have to study when they get back. I mean, it's a lot of stress on these kids, and their nervous systems are struggling because of it. And I know for my practice, and you're probably much the same, is I see a lot of teenagers, and I do see a lot of teen athletes, and they're struggling. These kids are struggling with anxiety. They're struggling with digestive issues, and they need help. And you can't, parents, please don't ignore it. Like, please take this time for the summertime to get them under chiropractic care, because this is the opportunity to start optimizing them so that it doesn't become a cascade for them year after year. Mm-hmm. And chiropractic is really a way to set that groundwork for them for optimized health while they're young, before they get so overrun with arthritis and autoimmune issues and anything like that. And so it really becomes the opportunity to be proactive rather than reactive. And I think we've grown up in a world, at least in my generation, was very, well, my mom taught me to be very proactive, but I feel like I'm not in the norm of people where that my particular generation was more of a reactive generation where, you get sick, you take a pill. Exercise wasn't a priority. This is why at this point in time, we have 50% of all our kids have some kind of chronic illness, and we have an obesity epidemic. And so really start to think about how you can change the next generation. And the first thing is, let's get their brains, their nervous systems, their minds, their bodies calm so that they can make sound decisions and choices. And when they can make sound decisions and choices, that's going to spill over into not just what they do in life, but the food they put in their body, how much water they eat or drink, how they value exercise and movement. And so this would be the time. It's summertime makes it so easy to get into a habit of health and wellness.
Mm-hmm. Silly Lily just mentioned 50% of children have chronic illness. Oh my. And it's really the truth. And we're not designed for that. We're not designed that way. It's not a flaw in the design. we are designed, an egg and a sperm came together and created this beautiful, incredible body. And it's our like first vehicle and should be our top priority to keep it really healthy and well. When I look at even like spring break pictures and things like that, like when people post their children on spring break, it's like these bodies don't look like they used to look. Of course, we didn't have social media back in the day when we were there, but they're inflamed. There's medication everywhere. And yeah, and it's okay. So let's talk about really quick, like if you were to start chiropractic care, my care plans are usually intense for 6 weeks at least. So that's the intensity part of it. We have basically school start from the middle to the end of August now. So that gives you exactly 6 weeks to 8 weeks right now to get the child, the teenage athlete, the college student, those that have a little bit more flexibility in their summertime. This is an awesome time. It's not a good time to run reactively to when you get back in school and kids are passing around germs and goop and all of that. We can actually prep the system for the school year, which maybe we can talk about next week or 2 weeks from now, how to get prepped now to not land in the goop and the gobs and the gross and like catch everything. That's not normal. And we can prep right now. Of course, we all know. And I mean, Dr. Paula has the most incredible tan. This is my incredible tan. But if you put our faces together, like I'm still yellow. She's very red, still the yin to the yang. And anyway, we all know how good vitamin D is for ourselves and our systems. And this is the time to be getting it and not slathering kids with all the heavy duty chemicals and sunscreen and all of that. Yes, we don't want to get sunburns, but there's other ways to do that. But prep now for a really healthy fall. As entrepreneurs, we're always looking 3, 6 a year in advance. Like that's how our lives run. So we're naturally doing that. But let's stop running seat of our pants and trying to throw the gamut of crap at something once it's here, because now you're in the grip and goop and glop of the school. So what can we do now, which includes getting adjusted at least 2 to 3 times a week to get started, or continuing your weekly care or every other week? Get going now, people.
Did you hear her? Did you hear her?
Now.
I heard her. Now, not later. I was talking to a patient about starting a detox.
Yeah.
And I can't remember which one it was. So he or she, we'll say she. And she was saying, should I said, well, it's just healthy foods. And I use a particular medical grade food powder that helps with liver detoxification. It's very simple. It's not like, it's no liquid diets. You're not starving. It's very mindful with regards to supporting the liver and the gut. And she said, oh, maybe I should wait until fall. And I go, that's 2 months, so 2.5 months away. When is there ever a good time to start treating your body kindly? And I said, listen, I understand it's summer. I get it. There's going to be backyard barbecues. There's going to be, unexpected things happening. But you have to make a decision at some point in your life when you're going to really commit to yourself. And maybe you're like, hey, I'm going to do Monday through Friday, be super good. Saturday, I'll have a cheat day, which I hate that word, but we're going to call it that for everybody else. But you've got to invest. This was our show last week about what is your health credit score, investing in yourself today, and stop putting it off. I think that's where we get into trouble, is we put off because we're like, oh, it's not, the time's not right. Or because I guarantee you've probably been putting off exercise or going to the chiropractor because you've been running your kids around in soccer or baseball or whatever it is. Well, guess what? It's summer and you're all home, which means all of you should be at the chiropractor. And, no excuses for mom. Oh my gosh, these poor moms who put themselves on the back burner because, and I think I told you guys about the one mom I have who's super stressed out and couldn't afford chiropractic care because they're maxed out on their credit cards because their daughter's in travel softball.
Mhm.
These are not smart decisions. This is not how life needs to be. And so my heart really goes out to her. And so I want better for you. I want better for your family. And this is why we're like, we got to check in and make sure that everybody's getting on track. And everybody's track starts in a different place.
Yeah.
So, okay, we would love for you to start with chiropractic. Maybe that's not where you want to start at this point in time, but you can be starting moving. You can be starting fresh foods, farmers markets everywhere. That right there is a no-brainer. Like, there's no excuse. We have so much fresh fruit and vegetables around us. Movement, getting outside now. You no longer have to feel trapped because the weather's bad, unless it's raining, of course. But there's definitely pick a way, pick a lane, pick a way you're going to start, and just start, and then slowly add the other pillars of health into that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I'm just thinking about is that, so the sports for teenagers these days are like, now they're year round. When we played sports, we would have a season, then we would have the other season, we would have the next sport, and then we had summer off. Maybe you would do travel. Now it's travel. So if you're a mom out there and you're still doing baseball, you're still doing drives to baseball, basketball, football now. I mean, the football team's already starting for Fenton. I know that. I had a football player in yesterday. But if you're sitting and you're waiting for your child, you're in the loop or whatever you're doing, put your phone down or turn on a podcast, put some earbuds in and walk it out. When you're sitting at a baseball game, you know those baseball games, of course you want to see your child hit the big home run and all of that. Those games are long. You can get up for 20 minutes.
That was 2 words, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Long. So you can put your earbuds in and take yourself on a walk. When you go, instead of packing whatever coffee or stopping by Starbucks, make sure you're packed good water with you with some electrolytes. Like, chug your water while you're there. Don't take when I climbed Kilimanjaro years ago, which we can talk about at a different time, but there was something called water shaming at the end of the day. So if you turned your water jug in or your Camelback in at the end of the day and you hadn't finished your water, number one, it's dangerous. And number two, like, it's just not wise anyway. So if you have a water thing with you all day, make sure you've filled it up twice. Like, use that as your check-in. While you've taken it to the baseball game, chug it while you're there. Don't put a full water container back in your car. Like, itty bitty little tiny things like that can make a world of difference in the long run. And you take yourself for a 20-minute walk instead of sitting in your car and doom scrolling. You take yourself for a little 10-minute walk after each meal you eat. You take yourself for a walk or chug water while you're having a summer cocktail. Make sure you're chugging 2 waters or at least 1. Like, there's actually a few really awesome little tips we want to take for you to take into definitely the holiday weekend, but the rest of the summer weekends too, because weekends are not for binging anything. Nothing.
2 words.
Not binging phones, not binging Netflix, not binging Hulu, not binging food, not binging alcohol. Like, it's not for that, unless at the end of your life you're looking for some troubles, which won't necessarily happen by August, September this year. You'll be fine. It's that. And then down the road, and you're like, oh my gosh, now I've got medical bills out the wazoo. I need assisted living care. Whatever. So I don't know. I'm just going to get on the soapbox. But.
I want to add to that. I love that. Like, binging is not allowed anywhere at any time. And if you find yourself binging, if you find yourself not being able to, also, I do hate the term everything in moderation, because people take advantage of that statement, and they can do something in moderation every single day that's destructive. But I'm just using the language that most people use, but we definitely want to be super mindful that if you're finding that you're binging on any of those things, even binging sleep is dangerous. If you find yourself oversleeping, overeating, over drinking, something's wrong. That's your wake up call. But I want to add to this because Dr. Erica and I always talk about our Aura rings, which, by the way, I lost mine. I can't find it. It's in my house somewhere. I know it's in my house. I have no idea. It's in my house. I took it off. I remember taking it off, and
It's like
it's
that
somewhere.
watch.
What's that?
Watch, go look behind your laundry hamper. That watch, remember you lost?
Oh, my watch. Yes. Okay.
Maybe it's in the same spot.
Could be. So, but what I want to challenge people to do is get rid of your Apple Watch. Get rid of these things.
Not okay.
These things are terrible. Here's what drives me crazy. First of all, no one needs to be that connected. We are already over connected with these things. This is binging. This goes right in there with the binging. Now, you can set your phone down. When I go out and I work in my garden, my phone's inside and I'm outside, and I don't usually put music on. Sometimes I will, but I just love to be outside with the sounds of nature. But now you're talking to somebody, trying to have a conversation. Let's say you go to dinner with a friend, and I have a nice pretty watch. By the way, this is the watch that I lost for a year. But anyway, but let's say they have an Apple Watch and you're in the middle of a conversation. It's this constantly. I know. And then, oh, I know it's my kids. Well, okay. So what were you saying? And they're constantly tapping and look, it's a constant disruption of their brain, your brain, if you have one of those. And people who are like, oh my God, I'm ADD. I don't know why. That's what's going on here. Get rid of that freaking watch. Personally, I feel like it destroys your relationships because you now can't just take this and set it inside or leave it in your purse or leave it somewhere where you can have a true meaningful connection with the person who's standing in front of you. Or how about with yourself? If I'm in my garden and I'm doing all the things and I constantly have this going on, my productivity is for absolute doggy doo-doo. So I think that the electronic binging, these have got to go.
Yeah.
Get yourself an Oura ring. If you're like, oh, I like wearing my ring when I'm working in the garden so I can see how much physical activity that I've done. Mm-hmm. But I don't even look at it until later that night.
Right.
Look at my stats. I'm not
constantly. The great thing about the Oura is that it's not putting EMFs around the body on a constant basis, where the Apple Watch is. So you have to check in on your phone on the actual app on here there's Lewis.
Hi, Lou.
You have to check in on the actual app on the phone to get it to do the readings for you, just meaning like it's going to hold and store the information. So awesome tracking. But then you have to log in and let it update on the phone. And that's the only time it's sending stuff. Now, years ago, when Apple Watch they've been around for quite a few years now, but my brother had one, I want to say like 4 or 5 years ago, and he had it for a little while. He actually had a burn mark on his wrist from where the Apple Watch sat. Now, I don't care what it's tracking. I don't care what it's doing. And I don't care what kind of communication you can get off of the Apple Watch. That is not okay. Absolutely not okay. And I didn't even think about people doing this because sometimes they'll do that during their appointments, and you just can tell, it's not that it's totally taken them out, because our visits are fast enough and they're intense enough with the patient, but it's also like, it'll start ringing and they do the thing. I don't even know what all the things are. But
I have no idea what it's doing. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't even wear a watch. I don't like anything on my wrists, but, yeah, it's a real thing you got to consider, but also it's just use this time when our energy is high, when it's very easy to get outside, where we can strip all the layers off, all the things. And we use this time to up level as much as possible, because people are like, oh, I don't know why we're sick now the school started. Doesn't have to be that way. It really doesn't. So,
and I want to mention too, we talked about vitamin D earlier, because if we are going to go into the fall and And, you know, people are like, oh yeah, my kid's always coming home sick. Kids are always sick. Kids are always sick. And I had a patient tell me, he went to Texas and then he came back and he got sick a few days after he got back. And he said, it was from the kids, his brother's kids. And I go, you were flying on a plane. Nope, it was the kids. And I said, well, were the kids sick? He goes, they don't have to be. So I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know how to have that conversation. But the whole point is, it's like, number one, that's not true. But number two, if you're traveling, and which a lot of people travel now in the summer, what are you doing to support your immune system? And chiropractic care is the number one bestest thing, I know grammatically, that you could be doing to up level your immune system. And that right there, and then we add the vitamin D in there. People are, you know, they ask me if there's one supplement I should take, which is like I hate giving just a one thing like that, because I'm like, you should eat whole foods and get out in the sun would be the primary thing. But if you're going to take one supplement, should be vitamin D. And I have to tell you guys, even with this tan now, Dr. Erica, she absorbs sunlight better than me. And you won't think that because she has lighter skin. But because I have more melanin, I have to be out in the sun longer in order to get more of those rays, in order to get more conversion to vitamin D. She can be out a shorter period of time, absorb less sun rays, and get more vitamin D conversion than I can. So I have to tell you, I still will take vitamin D 2 or 3 times a week during the summer, even though I'm outside. So I really want people to understand, yes, we want you to get outside as much as possible, get that sun exposure. Don't use chemical sunscreens, use a mineral-based sunscreen. However, just because it's summer doesn't mean you get to set that vitamin D aside and then forget it for 3 months, because that is also a massive part of your immune system. So,
yeah. Well, the other part I was thinking is because, so I have a mentor who's an incredible nutritionist, and he's down in the panhandle of Florida, and he does lots of lab, like Dr. Paula does, functional medicine testing. He's also an acupuncturist, a chiropractor, and I think he might even be a naturopath at this point too. But he recommends D to his patients, and they're in the panhandle of Florida. And this goes all year round, just because we're just so dang depleted no matter what. And we can only get the proper amount of D. This is the key. When our shadow is shorter than our body, that means the sun's far enough overhead a certain point of the day, we're actually getting vitamin D. Otherwise, we're not. And in Michigan, this far north, it's not a lot of the day, even in the summertime, but definitely not in the winter. And we need the vitamin D as a virus blocker, for growth and development of so many tissues. Vitamin D is actually a little bit more like a hormone than an actual, just a vitamin like vitamin C. So anyway, it's so powerful. I was thinking about, because this is going to go so quickly, but I know we wanted to give some really good pointers headed into the season. Well, the celebration week ahead for sure. But how to go about those things. There's a couple action steps we wanted to talk about. And one of Dr. Paula's things that she always does, no matter where she's going, is brings a cooler with a lot of ice and a lot of really, God bless you, a lot of really, really, God bless you. Yes. I didn't know you were allergic to me talking about you.
I'm like,
But just brings a cooler full of really good stuff, because we cannot always control what is going to be at any given celebration. But just wanted to kind of pass it back over to you to talk about some key things that we can do right now, not only get adjusted, but some of the things to make our summer season so successful in our health.
Well, and I think we talked, I think we've covered most of it, but if we just recap, first of all, fresh fruits and vegetables are all over now. Tap into your farmer's market, your local farmer's market. And I did a couple of videos on local farmer's markets, and I talked about how not everybody at the farmer's market grew their own food. So you can probably jump over to my channel, Dr. Paula Ruffin, and find that. I just did it a couple of weeks ago, what questions to ask your local farmer at the farmer's market. So you know you're getting good home grown food. I was at the market two weeks ago, week and a half ago, and this woman had kusa squash, which is a Lebanese squash. And it's, they're short little squashes. And I'm like, that's weird. I go, that's kusa squash. Did she grow? How early did she have to start her squash? Because I mean, squash is just now coming in. And I walked out. I was going to buy some strawberries. She had some nice things at her booth. And I said, oh my gosh, that's kusa squash. And she looks at me and I said, you grew that kusa squash? And she goes, this baby zucchini. And I go, oh. And I go, no, that's kusa squash. It's baby zucchini. And she had some kind of an accent. And I was like, okay, based on your accent, you are not Middle Eastern, but you did go to the Middle Eastern market and you bought those and you put them up in front of your thing. I didn't buy a thing from her, nor will I buy anything from her. But anyway, so go to the farmer's market, ask the right questions, find the people who are growing local food. The footprint of your food, the faster it's picked, the higher the nutrients. Mm-hmm. And I think it's like, is it cucumbers or spinach? It's in the video, loses like 100% of its nutrients within like 5 days or something.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yeah. For sure.
You want to be tapping into that. And then of course, give your chiropractor a call, give us a call. Let's get you under chiropractic care during the summer while you have a little bit more of a buffer of time. Because like Dr. Erica was saying, we both give people a very intense care plan to start so we can really get you optimized. And the problem with that for you is it's going to be a bit of a time commitment. If you have to be here 3 times a week, that's time. So then once the school year comes, let's say you're down now to once or twice or 3 times a month, whatever that is, now that's way easier to do. So make the commitment now while you have the time before you have to be running the kids all over the place. Mm-hmm. And so those would be my 2 big ones is fresh fruits and vegetables and chiropractic. Where are you landing on yours?
Yeah. So one of the other things I was thinking about is at farmers market. So it's funny because at the farmers market here, people will be like, well, there's only one organic stand. Well, okay. There might be one organic stand that can call themselves that because they went through the rigorous process of becoming organic and making sure that they fit all the guidelines. But if you talk to the farmers market, like the people that are in it, a lot of them are growing their things organic. They just can't use that label because they haven't gone all the way through the rigorous process because they just want to grow good food and get it out in their market. Also, the dirt and stuff that's on the vegetables as they're pulling them out of the ground, and obviously we want to wash things, but when that's so fresh, there's so many biological benefits of having the stuff picked either that morning or the morning before or what have you, and to use that. So I love those 2 farmers market tips. But I did want to mention that when you do go fed to any celebration. So eat before and eat something really highly densely nutritious. So a thing of eggs or, something of that nature. But then when you're there, go protein heavy. The body is going to be registering things that are clean proteins before they're going to be registering corn chips, potato chips, pasta, blah, blah, grossness, right? So
cupcakes with red, white, and blue frosting.
Yeah. Yes. So things come into our body that we put in there, especially those kind of carbs that I just mentioned, and the body's not registering like any actual nutrition. So then you'll get in this cycle of crap, right? Of eating doggy doo-doo, as Paula didn't want to swear earlier and says, not that we're eating that, but
I did want to swear. I did want to swear.
I know the quality. So if you pick the nutrient dense stuff first and then, follow it with a piece of red, white, and blue, disgusting frosting cake, do it. Have a little bit of ice cream, but fuel yourself that way so you're not gorging and binging on corn chips, potato chips, pasta salad, potato salad, like all that stuff, because it's just your body's like, I didn't get any nutrition yet. Fill your mouth full. I still didn't get any nutrition. And it's confusing and also very inflammatory. So
yeah, your brain knows better. Mm-hmm. And I'll do a video next week. So just to remind everybody, to make sure you're subscribing to our channel,
Yeah.
but also that we won't be here next week because Dr. Erica is going to take some much needed R&R, and I will take advantage of that as well for our Independence Day holiday. But to go back to when I go to my brother's celebration next weekend, and I do this all the time, and I'm only going to be there for a few hours, but I will take chicken and I'll cut it into little bite-sized squares, either fried in the pan in a skillet, or I'll grill it. And then I put it in the fridge. So those are like little nuggets of protein. So that protein heavy, I'll make hummus. I bring my salsa. I might bring a little bit of cheese and crackers. And people make fun of me. They're like, you brought a whole cooler to be here for a few hours? And I'm like, yeah, until you see what I'm eating. And then I swear to God, then everybody's coming up to my cooler because they don't like what everybody brought for the potluck. Because you never know. Here's the thing. You go to these parties. There's been times in the past when we show up and I bring a kale salad for the table that gets eaten before anything. So people want the healthy stuff. And there's been years when we've gone and everybody only brings desserts. So you have to go protecting yourself. You can't go expecting that there's going to be good, solid food for you. And I promise you, just like what Dr. Erica was saying, if you eat the good stuff first, and then you want to have that red, white, and blue cupcake, you'll probably have one bite and then go, I don't know if that was as good as I thought it was. And you won't be inclined to eat the whole thing or two of them. So definitely prepare yourself and make sure that you don't rely on what others are going to bring to make sure that you don't go into binge mode.
Yeah, I love this comment that you posted up here, Shooter. I went to my chiropractor to remedy a problem with my bat swing, and then turned out he was on the opposing team that they beat that day to do. It's so true. We see it all the time. I mean, every professional team has a chiropractor now. All the Olympians have chiropractors because it is giving people the edge athletically 100%, but it's giving you the edge no matter who you are. It's giving you the edge. And when I say that, I literally get goosebumps from head to toe because, you know, Dr. Paula and I know I have 20 years, 27 years for Dr. Paula. And that's a long time and a lot of experience. And I can tell you, if you saw what we saw, you would do what we do. I'm telling you, I can stand behind that. I will take that to my grave. If you saw what we see in the benefits and the adverse things going on with people's health, you would do what we do, which is make sure we get adjusted once a week, no matter what. So, but also tend to the rest of our health too. So just get the edge. We should probably make that one of what kind of edges can you get under chiropractic care? Like, I think we could, there's like multiple stories.
I love that topic. We should definitely do that. That'll be when you come back. We'll talk about getting your edge for the second half of the year. How's that sound?
Awesome.
All right,
That's
perfect.
All right.
And Howie, before we sign off, I just want to acknowledge Howie lives on Vancouver Island, and I am so jealous every time I see his videos, and he's just pulling fresh fish out of the water and just eating fresh foods from all over the place. And so, yeah, always fun to watch. So be sure you're following him. Make sure you're following us over on Chiropractic is Sexy, Dr. Paula Ruffin, Dr. Erica Peabody, and it's all about the biology. So make sure you give all those channels a good follow. And we appreciate you guys being here as always. I hope that you have a wonderful Independence Day holiday if you're here in the U.S. and keep yourselves good and healthy. Eat good healthy things. No binging and no what did you call it? Not binging. I don't know. I forget what word you used earlier, but anyway, be kind to yourself. So
be kind to yourself. And also, if you're on here, you're listening, you have questions for us, we can be reached on all of those platforms individually as well. So always feel free to send an email, give a call to our offices. We'll take all of it. So yeah.
You know where to find us. We're easily Googleable. All right, you guys, thanks so much for being here. Thank you so much for your input, your comments, and your support. And we'll see you in a couple weeks. See you guys.